Oh, Lali, creation, sustenance, dissolution, concealment, and grace are God's divine play. Oh, Lali, creation, sustenance, dissolution, concealment, and grace are God's divine play.
So this is what's known as the 5 Acts of Shiva. So next slide, please. This is another representation of what we were, right? The dancing Shiva, Shiva Nataraj. So our fundamental consciousness is described as having 5 primary ways of acting. The drum is bringing into creation anything that is created.
It's time. For something to be differentiated, it needs time. And what does the drum do? Creates rhythm. It allows for time.
And then the hand that's held like this is called Abhaya Mudra. Fear not. It's the mudra of fear not, because life is being sustained. What has been created will be sustained, at least for a while.
Maybe in ways we don't anticipate, but and then fire. So around the ring of Shiva is the dissolution and the reabsorption, right? To burn, to allow the new to emerge. Is the fire.
And then you see a hand pointing downward. This represents concealment, hiding this whole process from us very often, so that we're confused. We don't know what's going on.
And then the lifted foot is the divine grace, right? That reveals the process, right? Revelation, right? It's when we see clearly what's here. It's revealed what's here. So that's the symbolism of the lifted foot, is the revelation.
And then the entire dance is being danced on top of our ego. So notice that there's a little fellow that he's dancing on. So that's, that's the whole dance happens on top of our limited sense of ego.
So the 5 acts of Shiva are happening all the time. All the time. And again, we can stay really, really simple and we can just go to the breath, right? So the 5 acts of Shiva is the creation. The breath is created. It emerges out of somewhere with some kind of magic. Who knows how that happens? Try to make it happen. I suspect most of us would not know how to do that. But the breath takes shape. It's sustained for a while, and it dissolves. And then for most of us, I suspect, it becomes completely concealed. We're not even aware that the breath is happening. And then it's revealed again. So the 5 acts of Shiva are happening at every level of manifestation all the time. Within spiritual practice, without spiritual practice.
Yeah, recognized or not. This is what's happening. And yet, then this is a very viable practice method, if you will, to begin to see in real life these 5 acts. So the great Kshemaraj, one of the great sages of Kashmir Shaivism, posted this way: one might ask, is there some recognizable clue that indicates a person's divinity such that even in the condition of being a bound soul, one may confidently proclaim he or she is still totally divine in that state? Yes, there is. Contemplation of how this is going on for us, moment to moment to moment.
So even in the experience that Jim shared in Mexico City, right, there was, even in the revelation is the 5 acts of Shiva, right? So there was the emergence and the sustaining and then the dissolving of the direct perception of unified state, right? And then it was hidden, right? It dissolved, right? And then it's revealed again. So even in the process of recognition of kenosis and gnosis, right, the 5 acts of Shiva are at play. Right? It's always at play. Now, what's fantastic about this particular map is it completely eradicates any need for judgment. Any need for judgment, right? Because when it's being concealed, it's just the nature of reality to conceal. When it's being revealed, it's the nature of reality to reveal. Right?
So we're going to provide some examples that are very noticeable, and then do a little bit more settling into this. So the next few slides will show how every day happens. Creation of the day. Next.
Sustenance.
And then the dissolving of the day. Into darkness.
You have to go to the next one too, into darkness. Okay. So in the concealment, it's yet another doorway. Remember, everything is a doorway, 100%. So if you close your eyes and you're in complete concealment of the light of day, it's like in nighttime, we have stars and moons and such, but in the darkness, eyes closed, what is illuminating the darkness? What recognizes darkness?
Awareness.
Yeah, it's still right here. Never goes anywhere.
So the Gospel of John says, and the light is shining in the darkness, and the darkness does not overtake it. So next slide, please. So let's go back, because we're going to do a few more experiments.
Okay. So, and unfortunately, dreams take a bad rap, because dreams are also an emanation of Shakti and have a lot of wisdom. Sometimes it's just digestion, but not always. So, but in the dream experience, isn't it also the case that it feels like an entire life is happening? There's some beginning event, right? It lasts for a while, and then it dissolves, and then it completely disappears when we come into the waking state. And they're like, oh, that was a dream. But there again, is it the exact same awareness that's illuminating the dream? No different from the awareness that's illuminating waking state. Same. So what we're going to do is really see if we can recognize moment to moment the 5 acts of Shiva. It's actually a delightful play of just seeing it, just see Shiva dance. Again, just this one particular symbolic representation. But I'm gonna use sound, and this is what I was saying to Steve as the cellist in the house. If we knew that we were going to have a cellist, I'd have him play one string, but we'll just use the bowl. Mm-hmm. So we're going to use the bowl. I'm going to ring it, and what I'd like you to notice is how there is the five acts of Shiva are at play. So there'll be the beginning of the sound. It'll sustain for a while. It will dissolve. It will disappear into apparent emptiness. And then the revelation is that which perceives sound is still perceiving, whether sound is present or not. So close your eyes if that helps. creation, sustaining, dissolving, concealment, revelation.
Now allow your eyes to remain closed. And now we're going to experiment with our power of imagination. So muster whatever imagination power is available and imagine whatever you would like. Bring forth an image or feeling of whatever you wish. Notice that this is creation, a new creation. This moment has never existed before, and this imagined creation is emerging right now. And let that imagined creation remain for a while. See it or feel it or hear it, however you are imagining. Stay with it. Sustain it. And then, as soon as you feel ready, just let it dissolve on its own. You won't have to make any effort. It will, if you relax from the energy of imagination, it will just begin to dissolve. And at some point, it will be completely gone from your current experience. Concealed. And this whole process is a revelation. The entire using the imagination to bring this forth, to be sustained, to dissolve, to disappear, reveals the amazing power of consciousness. You are that consciousness. And whenever you feel ready, you can let your eyes open again. So just a few more comments about this fivefold dance, and then we will have time for questions. So next slide, please.
So this is where the academics in us come through. Arrows and columns and pointers. So the 5 acts of Shiva, creation, maintenance, dissolution, concealment, and revelation, are mapped very, very closely to the 3 qualities of experience described in Buddhism. So you have the anitya, the impermanence, creation, maintenance, dissolution. It's always coming and going. Dukkha, concealment. It's distressing when we can't see clearly. It's distressing. And then revelation, or is the anatma, the no limited self. Recognition. Okay, so again, we just see like when the maps correspond, it's utterly delightful. Utterly delightful.
Now, the feeling tone of the way this is explored in Kashmir Shaivism is quite different than usually the way it's at least described in the Buddhist exploration of the qualities of experience. And this also corresponds to some other spiritual traditions in which there is orientation towards renouncing the manifest in with the project of going into the transcendent, right? So this is just coming and going. Leave it behind. We're set on the transcendent, and that's one way of approaching it. But it might be a little bit more fun and enjoyable to actually become, receptive to and engage with and learn from and love the process of the fivefold dance. That this is the nature of consciousness or of existence, and to let it be a divine play a loving divine play that we're engaged in. Does that see how that? And that's the invitation in the Kashmir Shaivite perspective, is to begin to recognize that you're always involved in this fivefold dance,
and that there is a sense of wonder. Right? It's pretty awesome. It's also very intimate, right? It's nowhere, like you can't actually get away from it when you see it. Like it's actually what's here. Okay, and that it's also very, very relational. Like when we begin to be in relationship with what is here, and the infinite sentient intelligence of what is here, right? Then we begin to have the opportunity to deepen non-dual devotion. Non-dual devotion.
Last slide. So I think this is the slide we started with the first of these 3 talks, that Shiva and Shakti are a single reality, even though we may make this distinction. So you see that represented in the
and it's balanced. It's not the focus is not on transcendence exclusive of eminence, nor is the focus on eminence exclusive of transcendence. It's both and. It's both and. So this image kind of represents that so beautifully. It's light and the dark, the masculine and the feminine, the manifest and the unmanifest, the stillness and the dance. And as T.S. Eliot said, without the still point, there would be no dance. And there is only the dance. Om Namah Shivaya.
Okay, Om Namah Shivaya.